All right, y'all. We're gonna talk about the debate right now, and everybody all excited about that debate and fired up and talking about who gonna win, who gonna lose. Well, we're gonna look into that right now and figure it out because I have a pretty good idea who the winner will be. First off, you have to look at their strengths, and both of them are kind of evenly killed when it comes to their ability to lie. They both, man, people don't give Kamala Harris the credit she deserved on the national stage as a world class goddamn liar. She can lie, just like as good as Trump, if not better. I mean, Trump done told some doozies. Think about it. Think about Donald Trump and some of the shit he has said over the years. He's not as much a liar as people think. It's just a motherfucker just say anything. So when you look at a person who just spew out anything, sometimes like a bullshitter, it's a little bit of a difference between a bullshitter and a liar, in my opinion. Now Trump do both, but Kamala, she's a liar, and a liar like we've never seen. See, Obama talked more about his race and his story in America and how it endeared us to him. It made you go wow, because he wasn't lying. He said, "I'm from my black lineage is from Africa. My father is African. That's the dark skin in Obama. The American is white. Obama's white. American lineage is white. And a lot of black people just look at that brown skin and didn't. Not that it mattered, not that he is, but I mean, just he did speak truthfully about who he was racially, and you could appreciate that to some degree. But when he went into the White House, because of how he looks and because of how we supported him, we expected him to do something for us. And that's what Kamala is pulling off, is a lie. She's not telling who she is. She's not talking about how she really grew up, except outside her home. Inside your home, your mother didn't raise you as African American because your mother ain't African American. So you can be a part of a community to some degree that may be Latino or black. Or I've seen many black people start calling people mija and mijo, and because their kids are babysitted by Hispanics or their neighbors are Hispanics or they become real close friends with some Hispanics, and you pick up some of their words and stuff. Like they start calling each other the N-word sometime, and which is ain't a good idea, but it happens. But I'm just saying, being around, and Kamala could just be more honest about her real steps taken in this country and in her upbringing and in her world. But instead, she'd rather shut up and not say anything. And it's becoming a problem. And I think it's going to be a problem if she were to, by some miracle, win, but that ain't happening. But if somehow she could win, the thing that would be a problem is her and her strong support and inability to challenge her party. She would totally be a puppet. She would totally be one of those presidents who's being told everything to do, as they all are to some degree. But some do realize, and get their legs under them and find out in what areas they can kind of take some chances and do some things. She won't be one of those. So I think the last president I looked at who was that way was Bush, the second Bush. He was kind of one of those presidents who just was like fucking along for the ride. The Democratic and party lost to the Republicans for real. They even that what was that 2000? It was so close that he didn't even really win, but he muscled his way in because the Republican Party wasn't having that shit. They was like, this shit is too clear. And Al Gore was being a little complacent and chilling, and they just bulldoze their way in. That shit would happen easily now because the Supreme Court makeup. You guys have to see, if you weren't a Republican or a Democrat, you ain't either one of them motherfuckers. Either one. Take yourself and get in a helicopter and rise a little bit above the earth so you can look down at them and detach yourself from either party. And the Republicans have been fucking the Democrats up for some time now. And we continue to be the support. We have been a part of the losing party. And I mean, I ain't saying that we should switch parties or nothing, but the party that we are a part of is getting their ass whipped. They had Obama in 2008. Obama got reelected in 2012. That's 2 terms. That's 8 years. Then 2016 comes along, and Hillary cannot ride the Obama wave into the White House because people in the country were pissed. Everybody who is on the inside of the Democratic Party can't see it because the world looks good because they're telling you it's good. They're telling you that everything and all of their policies are working and great, while you're inside this bubble looking out at the world and you're like going, wow. And then the few people who you do walk past you and complain, you're like going, what's wrong with him? It's wonderful. The Democrats said it was. And then Trump proved it by winning. If the Democrats have been doing so goddamn good, if people who had really, really good jobs and their health care costs went up and some of them got kicked off their really, really good plans, it happened to me. And I had to take a lesser plan. I went to Kaiser. I hate it. I liked my PPO. I could have still stayed on it, but I couldn't afford it any longer. And I was thinking, my heart opened up. I was like, man, I can understand doing this so that we can have a country with everybody with medical, you know. And I was thinking all that kind of dumbass shit before I started doing my research and realizing that everybody in Israel got free medical care. They don't pay. No one in the whole country over there in Israel. And we give them billions of dollars each year. We should be pissed about that. No, and Obama's best way to give us free medical was to raise the premiums of the middle class people and make the middle class people hate the country. Been fucked up. But if you're a Democrat, you don't see it because you're a Democrat and you agree with that policy and that path. But if we had a certain amount of people in the country when Obama did that shit and messed up our health care, trying to give health care to poor people was what he was trying to do. And I get it and I agree, but not the way he did it. He put the costs on people. Well, and not on the companies. These companies start hiring low-wage workers in hotels and restaurants and Walmarts and all these low-wage places, and then throwing the healthcare costs back on the government. But what the government don't have to pay, the middle class picks up. But everybody gets insured. I get it. I don't like it. At the time, I just listened to the words. It sounded like a beautiful thing. Ain't a beautiful thing. And that's because Obama wanted to do it in a way that the government and the white people in the country wouldn't have to bear that like they would, and they ended up doing, and they didn't like that shit, and they didn't like it. And the unfortunate part is that nobody's ever figured out a better plan for the poor people. They just want to kill that shit so they can go back to the way things were, and I understand that too. No presidential candidate talks about health care anymore. They don't talk about it. They act like Obama fixed it. He didn't. It's some work that needs to be done. It probably needs to be redone, overdone, or something done because that shit ain't working. You go to a Kaiser as a well-employed person who got to get your ass up and go to work the next morning, and you end up waiting in a waiting room full of a whole bunch of people where it used to not be that way in the emergency room. As an employee who goes to work every day and put in your hours, you should be able to go in a goddamn emergency room if you have a really, really bad headache one night and get served and be back home by maybe 1 a.m. so you can go to work a little tired. But instead of being there till 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning and you have to leave from the goddamn emergency room and go straight to work because our healthcare system is horrible. Go and look at some other countries that we give aid to and check their medical system. They understand, they got it. They got it, how important it is. We don't. We don't get it. And we letting our government lead us too much and tell us what's good for us. Back to the debate. Exactly what I'm trying to get to. We worried about who gonna win or lose the debate. Is Kamala gonna use her lawyerly tricks and lure Donald Trump out into deep water and drown him? Or is Donald Trump gonna just lift his big old boot up like he usually do and just stomping on top of her head, and she's gonna look like a complete idiot in front of the whole country, and everybody's gonna know there's no way she can beat him? Either one of those scenarios is possible, but it really don't matter. I even myself got caught up a couple of days ago wondering who's gonna win or lose. Deep thinking and shit. Well, I tell you who ain't gonna win the debate. Us. Us. They're probably not gonna talk about anything that any of us want. Anybody listening to this, think of yourself for a minute. Just think of yourself. And then watch the debate tonight with what you're thinking about on your mind. And if it gets addressed, probably won't. And you'll still probably walk away from that debate talking about who won and who lost. You lost. I lost. We losing. They not. They up there playing some kind of bullshit ass game with our lives. I woke up for sure with that state of California thing when I found out that they were willing to pull a historical vote for black people in the state of California to get reparations. That's 40 acres and a mule. Do you know that we've talked about 40 acres and a mule our whole life? By one president making an executive decision and the next president coming in and pulling it back. And we had the opportunity to get, that's about as close as you're going to get to 40 acres in the mill. That vote in California that got pulled back the other weekend is as close as we're going to get. They had tangibles attached to that bill. As a black person, I just wanted it to get to a vote. Just get to a goddamn vote. Vote it down. Vote it up. Vote it all around. Vote it. But do not pull it back. You don't have that right. The Black Legislative Caucus for California does not have the right. Gavin Newsom doesn't have the right. Kamala Harris doesn't have the right. None of those people have the right to authorize, influence, require, or request that bill be pulled back. Anybody who has anything to do with that bill being pulled back, I never vote for them. I can't speak for anybody else on this planet, but I never vote for them. And I believe in my heart that Kamala Harris is the reason that bill was killed. So we're going to lose with a person on a national level who has broken my heart right now, just a couple of months before the presidential election. What should every black person in California feel like? They should feel pissed off if they understand that they were this close to being millionaires, that they were this close to a vote going the right way, which then all we needed was a governor who ordered the reparations study. And what it should tell us as black people is these goddamn studies is bullshit. They want to do a study to stall you. Gavin Newsom didn't think this shit would come up when he was still in office. He thought he'd leave this bullshit for another governor to have to deal with, but it didn't happen that way. It came around and he's like, I don't like some of the language. Yeah, well, y'all had months and years to figure that shit out. We're about to get down to it. This legislative session is what has been all this building, all the study, all the negotiation, all the meetings, all the things that had to happen for us to get to this point, and we get to this point and they pull it back after they knew it was coming down the pipe for years, that people like myself been looking at the internet, typing in reparations, California reparations, people in California's money, anything that'll pull up something. And they get to the point when the Black Legislative Caucus, all these people had the opportunity to make everything line up so that they could push this through, and they pull it back because it ain't ready. It needs some fixing. See, that's what the story of our life, and you can't do that to us no more. Not in these modern times when we know that you had every reason to, and even if it was missing something, because it's always gonna be, vote on it anyway. You got to roll with it. At this point, it's a little bird with a broken wing, but we about to push that little bird off the edge of the roof and see if he gonna fly. We're gonna about to find out. But we know now that where Kamala at, just because she is a Democrat, and they try to protect her from having to deal with the word reparation in her current campaign. Because had California put reparations on the national news cycle, it would have been very bad for Kamala. And now back to Trump. Trump don't have a whole lot of bad things that black people can say because he's picking up black votes. He's not losing them. Remember that. And that's why a lot of people say, you never say bad stuff about Trump. I don't, because I really don't give a fuck about Trump. I ain't never voted for his kind. I never voted for him, but he's whipping the Democrats' ass. So he's the only Republican they've had. We've had Obama twice and Biden. That's 12 years of Democrats. We've only had 4 years of Republicans, and Kamala's calling it his decade. It's been a decade of him. He just sucked all the oxygen out of the room. If he can do that in 4 years, he's only served 4 years, and you defeated him his second chance, and he can't get rid of him. He's controlling the Senate from the outside of the government. Ain't that weird how I'm talking about him and it just make him sound like such a big old powerful strong guy? I was talking about her, she sound like a damn idiot. That's because he's gonna kick her ass in this debate as far as debate watchers go. But even then, we are gonna be the losers. We're gonna lose. And that's the unfortunate side, folks. No matter who wins the debate, Kamala or Donald Trump, he gonna whip her ass though. But let's say, for instance, she did win. We still lose because we know where she stand on reparations. At least I don't think I've heard the word reparations come out his damn mouth. It probably ain't in his wheelhouse of anything. But maybe some black people need to start putting it in there. Start talking to him. He does understand that we have a place in this country, and Kamala do too. I don't like the place that she likes for us. So let's see where his place is. Let's see where he think we should be in this country. Because right now we ain't in the business of demanding anything. So we need to find out what he's offering. Because what they offering ain't acceptable. And if what he ain't offering is some bullshit, my vote going to Cornel West. Y'all all know that. And people get mad. How you gonna throw your vote away? Well, I'll throw my vote away on Cornel West rather than, because if he was the president, I believe he'd be what people really believe a president is, somebody who really governs for everybody. And black people say, well, he ain't just for us. Well, y'all ain't voting for Kamala because she just for us. Y'all ain't voting for Donald Trump because he just for us. I believe in my heart Cornel West really is for everybody. I believe that. And I believe he'd be a little more partial to black people because of the slavery thing. And I think that's fair. It seems fucked up because he black and we black and he gonna put a little extra under us, but it's the right thing to do. It would be better if a white president did it because it would look prejudice or racial, or you couldn't tie it to nothing but fairness. But no white president's gonna do it. After they pulled back 40 acres and a mule, every president after that with the stroke of a pen. It doesn't have to go through Congress. You best damn believe Lincoln's didn't. Lincoln was had to sign that shit up on his own, straight on his own. There wasn't no people behind him on that shit. As soon as he died, you ain't hear no big old movement of people trying to get that back. They was like, oh well, sorry, he died. That's how things get settled in this country, through violence. That civil rights movement was doing too well, and they had to put an end to it. They put an end to things they don't like. Somebody do, and we need to just get our piece of what's acceptable and what we can agree on, because we're not going to get all we want, and they're not going to give us anything. So we probably going to be somewhere in between there once we find somebody who will listen to us. And it is never going to be somebody who looks like us, but whose loyalty lies somewhere else. That's all I'm saying. Look at the damn debate tonight, guys. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be good. Trump gonna kick her ass. I mean, that's just the fan in me for liking to see people get stomped when they done piss me off, when they done messed up my vote for something that could have changed my life immediately. Could have changed my life immediately. All we need is that Gavin Newsom has already vetoed that $150,000 assistant loan for the migrants that they could get in on. Not that it was for them, but they could get in on it. And he vetoed that already. So had our vote been voted on by the legislature, it would have been moved on to him, and he would have been vetoing or signing it into law. And we would be instantly with a lot of money, or instantly understanding that he was with that bullshit. That's how important that was. But here we are now, still in limbo, and some of us still disillusioned, saying, "Oh, Gavin Newsom, he had nothing to do with that," and "Oh, Kamala Harris, she had nothing to do with that." Everybody who is a Democrat in the state of California has something to do with that shit. All of them, every one of them. And black people in the state of California shouldn't vote for none of them. None of them. And Kamala still probably win the goddamn state. But I bet they'll see a black vote from not fucking with them. Because every black person in the state of California should be pissed. Because you're about to get immediate money. Or you're about to get told that the governor was wasting your time with that study that he did. And then we'll know not to fall for that bullshit on the national level. That's how I feel about it. Let me get up out of here. I gotta finish my cup of coffee, and then I got some dogs I gotta feed, and I gotta get ready. I'm gonna spend the rest of the day getting ready to watch the debate. So please, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. I've been enjoying the comments and the dialogue with you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.